And welcome back to the Michael Cohen Show on our continued journey to 500,000 subscribers. Literally, in one day yesterday, more than 2,500 new subscribers. So do me a favor, hit subscribe, watch, comment. Keep those comments coming because they make me better, they make this show better, and share with one friend. Keep them in the know because the stupidity in DC is at an all-time high. And talking about stupidity, Trump is doing this two-part interview with Rachel Campo-Stuffy on Fox's News Spanish-only program yesterday. And the first part, of course, came out last night. Of course, it was, of course, time for a photo op. Check this out. Right? Meanwhile, Trump, of course, deflected all the blame. Everything that's bad that's going on right now, thumbs up. Everything that's going on is Biden's fault. You got to blame Joe Biden, saying that our country was going to fail. And only MAGA, only Trump himself could save it. Play the clip.
The theme of this was Make America Great Again.
Right.
And it's so easy. People said, if you didn't win, this country was going to fail. It was going to fail. It was financially and otherwise, it was going to fail. Maybe even worse in so many other ways with all of this horrible stuff that they made you believe. Our country was going to be a big failure, and it wasn't going to be long. I guess we're very close to 100 days, actually. Mm-hmm. And in this short period of time, we have made such an impact. We're respected all over the world again.
Yeah. Let me be very clear about something. Under the Biden administration, you could say whatever you want. Facts don't lie. People do. Right? We had, 8 straight quarters of economic increase. The market, stock market, which of course is only one indicator, but the market was at an all-time high, unemployment at an all-time low. So where it's going to hell? I don't know. Going to hell only exists in Trump's head, in that space between his ears. Meanwhile, Campo-Stuffy then told Trump that she wanted to teach him. This is a great interview. She wanted to teach him how to say MAGA in Spanish. And I want you to take notice to the cuts between her saying it and, of course, him repeating it back. Because I thought that Trump didn't like it, right? And it should become illegal when news stations make cuts in interviews. Hello, 60 Minutes. Play the clip.
Mr. President, I'd like to teach you how to say, let's make America great again in Spanish. So, vamos a hacer América grande otra vez.
America grande otra vez.
He's now bilingual or trilingual, or just ask him. He speaks 10 languages. Meanwhile, Trump then goes on, he rambles on about Kilmar Armando Abrego Garcia, right? The Maryland guy that was improperly deported. And he, of course, lies about the Supreme Court ruling. Play the clip.
Todavía hay preguntas sobre el ilegal que vivió en Maryland. ¿Sí o no? ¿Será retornado a los Estados Unidos?
As you know, the Supreme Court, after we get out all of the fake news from CNN and all these other people, we won that case 9-0. Mm-hmm. And basically, that's really a decision that will be made by the government of El Salvador. Because that's where, I assume that's the one you're talking about.
Yes, he's from El Salvador.
Staying there, and he's from El Salvador. So that's a decision up to El Salvador. Okay. But it's interesting because we won that decision 9-0 in the Supreme Court. And if you listen to the news, you wouldn't know that.
Right.
You would really have no idea.
Fair enough.
So it's up to El Salvador.
Okay.
No, in fact, if you know how to read, if you actually read the Supreme Court decision, Mr. President, the 9-0 was not in your favor. The distinction is in one simple word. It's effectuate versus facilitate. In the lower court, you were directed to effectuate the return of Mr. Garcia to the United States. Effectuate. The Supreme Court, for whatever the reason may be, stated that you must facilitate the return of Mr. Garcia to the United States so he could at least be given his due process rights. Now, the fact that Steve Miller and others want to turn around and they want to try to spin it, this win is not for you. You did not win this case, not by any stretch of the imagination. And the more you continue to repeat it, the more that we do have to wonder whether or not you comprehend the English language, whether you are actually reading these documents, or are you relying upon your enablers within which to tell you what they know you want to hear. He also goes on and he starts speaking about deporting homegrowns. Let me be very clear, my friends. Homegrowns meaning U.S. citizens. Play the clip.
Very big ones, and we're using his system because we're getting rid of our criminals from out of the United States who were allowed to come in by Biden. We're getting them out. And the president is helping us with that, President Bukele. So I was very impressed with him, really very impressed. Great guy.
Could we use it for violent criminals, our own violent criminals?
I call them homegrown criminals.
Yes.
I mean, the
homegrowns.
The ones that grew up and something went wrong and they hit people over the head with a baseball bat. We have, and push people into subways just before the train gets there, like you see happening sometimes. We are looking into it and we want to do it. I would love to do that.
Let me be very clear about something. I think Trump is watching the old reruns of like Ray Donovan or something. I mean, I don't know what's this violence that exists within him, pushing people in front of trains and hitting them in the head with baseball bats. You know, he also turns around and he makes this comment about how these people, these homegrowns or, you know, these violent criminals all came in under Biden. I want to remind you that Mr. Garcia is in this country for over 7 years. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, he came in. Yep, that's right, under the Trump administration. Meanwhile, Trump also mentions a self-deportation policy. Play that clip.
As you probably know, we're doing a self-deportation. And we're going to make it comfortable for people. And we're going to work with those people to come back into our country legally.
¿Está funcionando la autodeportación?
Well, we're starting it. We haven't started it right now. We're getting the murderers out. We have our total aim on the very bad ones, as you can imagine, because you have some great people that came in. But we have some very bad ones. We had 11,088 murderers. Half of them killed more than one person. These are rough, bad people. We want them out. And that's mostly our focus. Yeah. But what we want to do is we're going to have a self-deportation program, which we haven't even announced yet. I guess I'm announcing it to you. Why not, Rachel? Here it is. The only thing I haven't determined is what are we going to do? We're going to give them a stipend. We're going to give them some money and a plane ticket. And then we're going to work with them. If they're good, if we want them back in, we're going to work with them to get them back in as quickly as we can.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Trump goes on in this ridiculous, I don't know, maybe they prepared the questions for him, this interview, if you want to call it that, about how in the old days, I mean, we're living now in the past, how in the old days, all of our country's money came from tariffs. Let me repeat what I just said to you. This guy, in his desire to bullshit the American public, comes up with this notion that America, at some point in our history, our money all came from tariffs. And so I turned around and I looked it up. The time period, of course, that he's referring to was the time period, the end of slavery, time period when women couldn't vote. Play the clip.
There is a chance that the money from tariffs could be so great that it would replace, you know, in the old days, about 1870 to 1913, the tariffs were the only form of money. And that's when our nation was relatively the richest. We were the richest.
Yeah, again, at least he understands he's talking about 1870. It's truly unbelievable. Meanwhile, Trump also spoke about farmers getting hurt badly by these tariffs. Play the clip.
One of the things I am doing, though, is I'm also making it easier on the farmers and the hotels and everything, because you have a lot of farmers that they're not going to be able to, you know, do their crops and pick up the corn and do all of the things that they do so incredibly well. So we're making it so that if a farmer can give recommendations to people, we're going to be very soothing in terms of perhaps letting that farmer have, they're sort of responsible.
Yes.
And we're going to have the farmer take responsibility. But, ultimately at some point, we want the people to go out, come back as legal. We're going to send, as you probably know, we're doing a self-deportation. And we're going to make it comfortable for people. And we're going to work with those people to come back into our country legally.
Está
The good
funcionando.
ones.
Yeah. And look, finally, while on the Spanish-speaking Fox channel, Trump spoke about the Mexican cartels. Play the clip.
Mexico is, I think, very, very afraid of the cartels, actually. I think the cartels run large sections of Mexico, and I don't want to say that because I'm getting along very well with the president.
Yeah, he's not getting along with anybody. There's ongoing, continuous denigration of everyone. This is not diplomacy. This is dictatorship. And that's why I keep saying, my friends, the most important thing, help us to build the community, a community, again, so big, so strong in our voices, so exuberant in terms of our positions, where facts matter, where truth matters. I kind of misspoke myself when I was talking about Kilmer Garcia entering the country during the Trump administration. I didn't mean it that way. He actually entered this country in 2011. He met his wife, or soon to be his wife, in 2016. They had their first child about a year or so after. That's the point I was making. This man existed in this country literally since 2011, which he came in illegally. There's no doubt about that. Then married a U.S. citizen in around 2016, 2017. He was here in this country during the same time period that he's claiming it's under Biden's fault. That's the point I'm trying to make. There's no facts behind anything that these folks say. They lie, and then they tell you to accept the lies and accept the lies as the truth because they say so. Again, that's why I say to you, subscribe, watch, keep the comments coming, and share this with a friend. Help me to create this community. And with your help, 2026 midterms will go the way we need them to go. And as always, thanks for listening. Hey, everyone. First of all, thanks for watching. We're going to be posting daily episodes with reactions and talking about politics. We'll be talking about everything, in fact. So please like and subscribe. Join us on this journey.